Skinner Brothers. The Skinner brothers are less a gang and more a nightmarish tribe of bloodthirsty killers. There's no code, no cause, only cruelty. They exist on the outer edge of civilization, deep in the woods where law and reason don't reach. Travelers who stray too far from the beaten path often disappear without a trace, only to be found later, mutilated beyond recognition. Their camps are filled with the remains of both men and animals, skinned bodies strung up like trophies, severed limbs nailed to trees, and human hides stretched over crude wooden frames. What makes the Skinners especially terrifying is their unpredictability. They don't approach like common thieves. They stalk, they ambush, and they revel in psychological torture. Their screams echo through the forest just before they strike, and sometimes they don't kill right away. They want you to feel fear. Their kills are ceremonial, meant to horrify, not just eliminate. They're known to burn victims alive, leave them gutted by the roadside, or tie them to trees, flayed and still breathing. For the Skinners, killing is an art, and suffering is the canvas. Number 2. Murfree Brood. The Murfree Brood are a violent, degenerate clan of hill dwellers who have turned their backs on society in the most monstrous way imaginable. Living in the rugged hills and caves, they are inbred, unwashed, and speak in guttural noises more than actual words. But don't mistake them for simple-minded. They're hunters, and people are their prey. They steal from travelers, slaughter families, and take prisoners only to torture or enslave them. They live like animals, but kill like demons. They roam the misty hills in packs, always watching from the tree line or crouched in the underbrush. You might see nothing, just hear a low growl or the sound of twigs snapping before they rush you with clubs, hatchets, or rusty guns. Their brutality is primitive, but effective. They attack with overwhelming numbers, drag victims into the dark, and leave behind scenes of horrific violence, bloody trails, torn clothes, shattered skulls. To the Murfrees, murder isn't about money or revenge. It's simply a way of life. The land they live on is soaked in blood, and they're proud of it. 3. Del Lobo Gang. The Del Lobo Gang are outlaws in the truest, most traditional sense, but that doesn't make them any less deadly. Ruthless, organized, and armed to the teeth, they are a powerful force that dominates the western frontier with sheer brutality. They don't just rob stagecoaches or hold up trains. They raid entire towns, slaughtering innocents without hesitation. These aren't desperate men. They're soldiers of chaos, and their war is against anything that smells of law, order, or weakness. Del Lobo members are known for their explosive ambushes and brutal retaliations. If you kill one of their own, they will come for you in numbers. They strike hard, fast, and without mercy. Civilians are shot in the street, lawmen are executed in public, and enemy camps are burned to ash. They're also deeply embedded in the corruption of the region, often bribing guards or seizing control of outposts. Their presence is a constant reminder that civilization in the West is fragile, just one gang war away from collapsing into total anarchy. 4. Lemoyne Raiders. The Lemoyne Raiders are relics of a lost war who refuse to accept the South's defeat. Once Confederate soldiers, they now operate as a rogue militia, clinging to a twisted sense of pride and racial supremacy. What makes them so dangerous isn't just their firepower, it's their fanatical hatred. They see themselves as soldiers in a holy war, and everyone who isn't one of them is the enemy. That includes lawmen, travelers, ranchers, freedmen, and especially outsiders. They're well-organized, trained in guerrilla tactics, and heavily armed. Their ambushes are military in precision, blocking roads with wagons, setting traps in the swamps, and gunning down caravans without warning. They hoard Confederate weapons, maintain hidden stockpiles, and carry out nighttime raids that leave entire plantations in ruins. Worse, they spread fear through terrorism, burned crosses, lynchings, and mass graves. The raiders don't want money or power. They want to turn back time, and they're willing to murder hundreds to do it. But 5. Night Folk. There are no wanted posters for the Night Folk. They don't rob banks or ride into town firing guns. They don't speak, they don't negotiate, and they don't leave survivors. These swamp-dwelling wraiths are pure nightmare fuel, and even the locals whisper about them like ghost stories. But they're real. If you ride into the marshlands after dark, you'll feel it. The unnatural silence, the sudden chill, the sense that something is watching you. Then they strike. Pale, silent, and covered in mud and blood, the night folk move like predators. They use machetes, spears, and old blades, and they don't make a sound. You won't hear gunfire. You'll hear wet footsteps, raspy breathing, or the crunch of bone. They hang corpses from trees, arrange bodies in circles, and sometimes leave victims crawling, maimed but alive. Nobody knows where they came from or what they want. Some think they're spirits, others say they're cultists. What's certain is this: if the sun sets and you're in the swamp, run. The night folk don't take prisoners. 6. O'Driscoll Boys. The O'Driscolls are the most hated rivals of the Vanderlinde gang, and for good reason. They're treacherous, brutal, and utterly without honor. Led by the cold-blooded Colm O'Driscoll, they spread chaos wherever they go, raiding homesteads, murdering travelers, and ambushing rival outlaws. Unlike Dutch's gang, which operates under some warped sense of morality, the O'Driscolls are fueled by greed and hate. They don't believe in loyalty. If you're weak, they'll leave you behind. If you're strong, they'll stab you in the back. Their feud with the Vanderlinde gang is long, bloody, and personal. Countless members have died on both sides, and the violence only escalates as the story progresses. They lie in wait in forests and hills, setting traps and ambushes, always watching and waiting. And when they do strike, it's fast and ugly. Bullets flying, houses burning, women screaming. To the O'Driscolls, every confrontation is a chance to assert dominance through fear. They're bandits, killers, and traitors, and they're proud of it. 7. Braithwaite family. The Braithwaites aren't a gang in the traditional sense. They're an old-money Southern dynasty rotting from the inside. But don't let their sprawling plantation or their air of nobility fool you. Beneath the surface, the Braithwaites are as venomous as rattlesnakes. They run illegal moonshine operations, trade in people, and use hired guns to enforce their control over the region. Their power isn't just in wealth, it's in fear. Local sheriffs, business owners, and politicians all know not to cross them. What makes them dangerous is their cunning. They don't shoot first. They manipulate, bribe, and blackmail. But when the time comes to draw blood, they don't hesitate. Their feud with the rival Grey family leads to widespread violence, and anyone caught in the middle is treated as expendable. They abduct, torture, and kill those they see as enemies, all while maintaining the illusion of Southern grace. The Braithwaites don't just crush their rivals, they poison them slowly, making sure they suffer along the way. Number 8. Saint Denis Mob. In the heart of civilization lies one of the most corrupt and lethal factions in the game, the Saint Denis criminal underworld. Operating from the shadows of the bustling city, this mob is made up of smugglers, hitmen, politicians, and businessmen, all tied together by mutual greed and power. They may not wear bandoliers or ride horses into battle, but they kill just as efficiently, if not more so. Their methods are cleaner, colder, and often untraceable. 1 minute you're a problem. The next, you're a corpse in the gutter. What makes the Saint Denis mob terrifying is their reach. They have judges in their pockets, officers on payroll, and eyes everywhere. They run illegal gambling dens, drug routes, and black market trading rings. They don't need to intimidate with violence. They have the entire city doing that for them. But if you cross them, expect a car bomb, a mysterious disappearance, or a robbery gone wrong. In a world where outlaws are hunted, the mob thrives by blending in, and that makes them deadlier than any cowboy with a 6-shooter.